How you doing, family? It's been a week or so since I posted a video. We are coming up on an absolutely amazingly interesting month in regards to the things that are going on. And if you haven't heard, you're about to hear today. Remember we talked about the two ditches, and when it comes to prophecy and prophetic warnings and looking at the things that God is doing, there's always two ditches as well. There's those people that they glorify ignorance. There are literally people that will say, I don't want to hear anything about that. What God's going to do, God's going to do. And then there's the other side of the people that are so far into prophecy, then that's their entire life, looking at trying to predict, setting dates, all those kinds of things. I don't do any of those things. But for those of you that have inquiring minds, I did think it was interesting some of the events that are going to be occurring next month. So I'm just going to talk about events, and you can do what you do. Next month is the end of the last Shemitah cycle. And if you don't know what a Shemitah is, you can go and Google Jonathan Cahn. But basically, according to God's prophetic calendar, he comes back and he looks at the nation every 7 years. And then and basically he comes back and he looks to see what we're doing. And if we're doing the right things, then God says, I'll bless you. And if that nation is moving away from him, then he says that he's going to bring judgment. The end of the Shemitah cycle ends on the Hebrew calendar date, Elul 29. And for inquiring minds, you can go Google this. The stock market crash in 2001 was Elul 29, and the bubble bust in 2008 also occurred on Elul 29. I do believe in 2001 it dropped by 7%, and in 2008 it dropped 777 points. So, not going to set any dates, but that's definitely going to be very, very interesting to keep a watch on, because the end of the Shemitah cycle, the great day, the beginning of what the Christians call the Jubilee, happens this year. And next September the 13th is Elul 29, and we will get to see whether America's been naughty or nice. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Also, next month the UN is hosting its World Session on September the 21st. Keeping along with the biblical calendar, September the 14th is another Jewish holiday. It's the Feast of Trumpets. That's the Jewish New Year. And then September the 23rd is Yom Kippur. That's like the Day of Atonement. We would know that as the Judgment. And so we have all these Jewish biblical dates. So just keep those in the back of your head as I ramble off some of these events. Like I said, the UN is hosting its World Session on September the 21st. The Pope will be speaking there, I do believe, on the 24th. They have named the session the Jubilee Session. They don't have that on the American sites, but if you Google foreign papers, I actually took some screenshots of it, they are calling it the Jubilee. This is also the end of Isaac Newton's prophecy. Everybody knows Isaac Newton as a scientist, but Isaac Newton was a very stringent studier of biblical prophecy, especially coming out of the book of Daniel. And when he had studied, he had believed that the final cycle, according to him, would begin on June 6, 1967. That's when we got Jerusalem back. Not when Israel became a nation, but when they got Jerusalem back. And if we add 49 years to that, that's the Shemitah cycle. That actually brings us to September 23rd, 2015. Very, very interesting. Not setting dates, but just saying. Very interesting. The Pope is coming to Washington, D.C. to talk to Congress on September 23rd, 2015. That will be the first time in history that the Pope has ever came to address Congress. Not setting dates. Very, very interesting. Also, there's a prophecy about the popes. They say the 266th Pope would be the final Pope, and this is the 266th Pope. That's actually a prophecy through Catholicism, and you can look that up if you just Google the 266th Pope. I'm not going to do your work for you. You got to do your research yourself. Prove all things and hold fast to those things that are true. Test every word, test every spirit. Don't trust any man. I don't care if it's pastor, pope, priest, or anybody in the middle. Also, May 13, 2014, the French minister stood beside John Kerry. You can Google the video. I watched it myself. And on this date, he said we had 500 days to climate chaos. Chaos. He didn't say a year and a half. He didn't say 12 months. He didn't say, he was very specific. He said 500 days. Well, if you take 500 days from May 13, 2014 That takes you to September 24th, 2015. Very, very interesting. So we have Operation Jade Helm going on. The military conveniently decided to do a test program where they sent troops into 9 states to prepare for any kind of emergencies that could potentially happen in the United States. It began July 15th and it ends September 15th. Very, very interesting. That ends on the Feast of Trumpets. And then, most interesting, the largest machine ever created, the Hadron Particle Collider. They will be starting it back up on September, and they are going to be able now to smash these particles at 99.9% the speed of light. And so you have scientists like Stephen Hawking and some of the other premier minds in the scientific community saying that this is potentially the worst decision ever. But the owner of CERN literally has come on board to say that they believe that they can open up another dimension, and they're not sure if they can send something through, but they're pretty sure that if something can come through, it will. So you can do your research on CERN. You're going to be very, very interested to see what you find out there. Hint, hint, their logo is a 666. But so anyway, lots of very, very interesting things going on next month. For inquiring minds, do your research. For people who realize that America has chosen to go down a path and that it's not going to turn around. For those of you that are waiting for revival, revival is on the other side of tribulation. We are not going to willingly turn around. Prepare your hearts. Days are coming that are going to be different than anything we've ever seen before. Your children, my nieces and nephews, will not grow up in the America that we grew up in. We have set sail on a very big ship, and we have chosen to leave the rudder at home. So for those of you that are believers, pray for our nation, pray for the people in it that are His chosen, and let's get ready for very, very interesting times. Once again, not setting dates, hoping that you'll do your own research, hoping that you'll make your own choices, hoping that you'll love God more, hoping that I'll love God more, that we'll love God more together, and that we will prepare our arks for the storm that is potentially coming. Love you guys.